Hello, and welcome back to Create Astral, where last episode we got this very handy applied energistics ME system set up, where we can throw all of our items into one central storage system. I've also been made aware, thanks to a comment on the last video, that we can connect these storage buses to these storage units. All we have to do is make sure that we have both input and output slots on the front, and that should allow it to connect to our main system back here. So if we find redstone, yep, we should have quite a bit there. Now we should be able to connect up more of these storage buses. I think we can have up to 8 on this one smart cable here. We just need to make sure that each of these have both an input and output slot on the front, and that should get them working. Now if we wanted to add more than 8 to this, we can see on here that we have 8 out of 8 channels currently filled. If we wanted to, we could take a dense cable and we would have to hook this all the way up back to our ME controller back there, but we can attach another cable coming off of this, since each side can hold up to 8 out of these shimmer smart cables. Yeah, so the dense ones can hold up to 32 channels and the normal ones can only hold 8. And the reason we can't use these everywhere is because you can't attach storage buses to them, so we have to have these normal smart cables coming off of the big one. But this won't work anyway until we have dense cables running all the way back there, and these are not cheap to make. They take quite a lot of shimmer. Yeah, so each of these takes shimmer, and each of these glass cables take shimmer too. And actually, I believe we should be able to use these P2P tunnels instead of those dense cables. I just have to make a couple of these so I can show you how that works. So now here, instead of using one of these dense cables, we can actually throw down one of these P2P tunnels, and we actually need to put one on the ME controller itself too. And we should be able to just attach that like that. Now with one of these memory cards, we can shift right click on this tunnel to give it a code. We can see it's got a frequency up there, it's 5DEA. So now we can take this all the way back to our storage over here. And if we shift right click this one, I think we may need to, yeah, there we go. So instead of shift right clicking, we need to right click on this one. So we've given it a new frequency, so we need to take this one back actually. Let's try attaching that there. Yep, now we go. Now we can see that they're linked, and then we should see we still get our items in. Oh, we need to connect it though. So now we can connect this and we get all 8 channels that we need, but only one being used because of this P2P tunnel. So we can take this up and attach another one up here, and then we'll have room for the rest of these. And then with another one of these P2P tunnels, we can hook that up and link it with a memory card. We want to use a different one than the one we already used. I'm just going to throw both of these into a barrel down here, so we can save them for later if we need to. We do need this one though to link back up to our main controller here. We can just throw this onto a different side here and hook it up and attach a memory card. There we go. Now we can start attaching cables. We want to make sure that we have some quartz fiber in between these, just so they don't connect. Just throw these all in here like this, and we need one here too. So this way, this is a separate channel than this bottom one here. We'll need some more storage buses to connect up to these units. There we go, and now with all of these hooked up, we can see that this P2P tunnel is using 4 channels and this bottom one is using 8, and both of these are only using 2, which is exactly what we wanted, and we don't even have to use all of those dense cables. Then we should be able to see back at our crafting terminal all of those items. Yep, there they are. We got plenty of ingots to work with here. Now before we go any further today, I would like to fix this shimmer dust issue, because it is getting very tedious to have to do each of these by hand every time we need some. Fortunately, I believe there is going to be an easy fix for this, as we can convert one Certus quartz crystal into a Certus quartz dust. And this is actually handy because we can duplicate Certus quartz dust to get 2 Certus quartz seeds, which will each grow into 1 Certus quartz crystal. So we can basically just duplicate Certus quartz dust as much as we need to. And this wouldn't be terribly hard to automate either. We would just need a system where we craft up these Certus quartz seeds and drop them into water. And then once they're grown, we can filter them out so we get these Certus quartz crystals. And then we can inscribe all of those to get Certus quartz dust back. Alright, let's see if we can't figure out some way to set this up. So we're going to need a crude storage unit here for Certus quartz. And then we'll need a basin between that and then another crude storage unit for sand. And then these are both going to get mixed together to create the Certus quartz seeds. And those we can just take out through the back here. Now I'm going to set a brass filter on the back of this. We can right click it to make sure it's going out the right way. And I'm going to scroll up so that we only output 64 of those seeds at once. And so that way it's not constantly spitting out seeds and we aren't taking up a whole bunch of resources on our server here. And then those are all going to get dropped right next to these crystal growth accelerators. We're going to get a few more of these here so we can speed it up. These are also going to have these glass cables attached to them. Now below our water source block, I'm going to attach a smart chute, and then that way we can filter out the actual Certus quartz crystals instead of the Certus quartz seeds. Then we're going to attach a fan below this so we can pull all those items down and out through a brass funnel here. I believe this will work. We'll have to test it to see. We just need to connect up this crystal growth accelerator back to our main ME system and then take some power from up here with a rotational speed controller. We can just move this around so that we can get some cogwheels down to this mixer and to the fan down there. And now with both of those hooked up, we should just need to come around the side here and make sure we have the right output settings on these. This one should go to the right. And then we'll see that this starts mixing them, and we should get some Certus quartz seeds out of this. We'll need to input from the back on this. I probably should have waited until we need these instead, and then we can lock it. Also went ahead and made 3 more of these crystal growth accelerators just to speed up this process. I believe it's 20 seconds that it takes this to work. Let's see. With 4, it's 30 seconds, which is good. We just need to, once these have 64, it should output to the front into this brass funnel. Yep, there we go. And they're all going to come out at the same time. They should start charging up, and it's only going to take 30 seconds, which hopefully is enough time to allow this to fill back up too. Just that way we don't have a whole bunch of these in this water at one time. We will need a way to generate sand. We can just do that pretty easily with a couple of millstones and a cobblestone generator. And now these fans should be pulling these Certus quartz down through the water. I'm not sure why that's not working. If I throw them in, it works. I think because the water is making them float up and then the fan isn't pulling them down. We'll need to find a way to get that working. I think this may work though. If we have a fan above this brass funnel, we can have it push down and actually have it push the items into the funnel instead from above instead of trying to pull it. Let's add some more Certus quartz seeds into that and see if that works instead. Yep, that seems to have done the trick. We can see that they came out right here. We'll need to block off this chute though so that they don't spit out through the bottom and that they come out through this funnel instead. We want this funnel here because we're going to have these items go up on a belt. We'll somehow need to get them into this inscriber up here, which we'll need another storage drawer for. Actually, that may not be true. I believe if we use an andesite funnel here instead, we can just have them go in that way. Let's see if we can't get a belt going up here. We just need to move some things around. This may work here. We just need to get some power to these. And then last but not least, we'll need to get some power to this inscriber here, which we can just do with a cable like that. Oop, I think I'm stuck here. And then that should be everything. We can throw some Certus quartz crystals down here to see if this works. Yep, those go right into the inscriber. Stuck again here. And then once those finish, we should get some Certus quartz dust, which we can input through the back of this. There we go. and those should go straight back into this basin. As for the sand, we should be able to pull this off pretty easily, just with a couple of millstones here. Just throw one there, and another one above that. We get one there, a chute above that, and then we'll need a drill to get cobblestone here. Then we just need to make sure our millstones are powered. And then we want to make sure that our drill is running one speed slower than our millstones. We can just do that by attaching a large cogwheel onto that. Uh-oh, I forgot that because we're below Y0, we're going to get cobbled deep slate here instead. Not sure if there's a workaround for this, but we may need to move our setup up a few. And honestly, the easiest fix for this was to just move our cobblestone generator up above Y0. And now we should be getting some cobblestone and this millstone, and then that should mill it down to gravel. Yep, there we go. We can see the gravel particles there. And then that will get milled into sand. We just need to set this input. And there we go. Now we're getting some Certus quartz seeds mixed. And that should be everything we need. We should be seeing that these won't drop until there's 64 in there. And then we should actually see a positive net on this Certus quartz dust because of the speed that the sand is being made. So this will be filled up before we have to worry about how much sand we're having or the amount of Certus quartz seeds we're getting. The only flaw I could see happening here is if this belt fills up with all these Certus quartz, because then they won't be able to go through the chute, and then we'll be getting more and more Certus quartz seeds in here. I don't think that's going to happen, though, because it looks like this inscriber is working faster than the millstones, which is a very good thing. We'll let it run for a bit and see how it goes, but right now we're looking pretty good on the Certus quartz dust. What we're going to do with this next, though, is find a way to get a tank of shimmer down here so that we can automatically make shimmer dust. And I think all I'm going to do to set that up is to take our current shimmer tank that we have and attach it to a minecart here. Make sure we get rid of the super glue we have. Yep, we just attach a cart assembly below this on a rail, which I don't have. Right, so if we throw down a rail here and then our cart assembler, we just need to attach this whole tank to the cart assembler itself. That should do the trick. Then if we throw a minecart down and put a lever on it, that will turn it into an entity, which we can then shift right click this cart with a wrench, and then we'll get the whole contraption here, which we can just take right down to our base. Then we should just be able to pop this down like this, and we'll need to get our cart assembler back so we can detach it from being an entity. So if we throw this down, it should automatically turn back into normal blocks. We can just get rid of this. And then for symmetry's sake, I'm just going to turn this into a 3x3 tank. I need to get some more here, but just to make it look nice. The shimmer automation, though, is going to be super easy. All we need to do is get one of these crude storage units. Then we're going to have that go into a casting table. I'm going to move this down one, actually. Just like that. Then we can take a seared faucet and put a lever next to that to turn it on. And then we can take a hopper below this and put it into another crude storage unit. Then if we take some of our Certus quartz dust, throw it in this one, and lock it so that we only have those. Output to the back. That should throw it onto the casting table. It's going to pour some shimmer on it and have it go into the hopper. We need to set this input to the back. We don't need to have auto input on this, though. There we go, and then we can lock this. And there we go, now we have automatic shimmer dust. Yeah, this is so much nicer than having to do each one of these manually. I think that's a good place to leave it for today's episode, though. Before I go, I would like to announce that I have started a Patreon. You can check out the link in the description if that's something you're interested in. And I also have a Discord if that's something you want to join. It's also in the description. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.